Go through that again. Good evening. I'm Steve Andrews, and I'm standing in for Melissa. Melissa, you will never know what just happened before I started this recording. It is Thursday, September 29th, and I'm delighted that we have Wendy Benson and Amber Langley-GIll here to share some of the things that have been really successful for this month. It is September 29th, and I'm not sure if you guys know, but what keeps Melissa as a top 10 coach is new coaches coming in and being successful. And so that's why Melissa spends so much time and so much effort helping new coaches come in and hit Success Club and start to build their businesses. So my appeal to you guys is, if you're a 2015 or a 2016 coach, please get out there and hit Success Club this month. Beg, borrow, steal, get people to share a challenge pack. There's a few tips out there on the family teammate page of how to get this started and get going this month. And it benefits us all if we can say we work with the number 5 coach in the business right now. It'd be great if we could get it to be the number 4 or the number 3 coach this year. It benefits us all to do that. So that's my appeal to you. And we're going to start with Wendy, who had an absolutely fabulous August with over 30 Success Club points, if I remember rightly. I'm not sure how you're doing this month, but I'm sure you'll let us know and share some of your tips with us and tell us a little bit about you. These girls were meant to send me a blurb about them, but I didn't see either of their blurbs. I may have missed it, but so they will have to do their own introductions because I can't give them that introduction. All right.
Are you ready?
I will mute myself and disappear into the background.
Okay. Well, I will go first. Amber will follow me up, but I really did send you the blurb about myself. It wasn't all that exciting because I guess maybe I'm not all that exciting, but I will tell you a little bit about myself. We have a busy family. I am a wife and I have 6 children. I became a coach in February of this year, or probably maybe closer March, I guess was when it is. In February, I started thinking about it. Melissa asked me to come on and talk about Success Club, and I have hit Success Club every month since I've become a coach. And so I guess she kind of wanted me to just kind of go over what I've been doing that's helped me reach those goals. But like I said, like all of you, we're all busy and such not, but thank you for having me on. I hope I can give you a little bit of something that you can take with you that will kind of help you see where I'm at and what I'm doing, and maybe it'll help give a little bit of an idea as to what kind of things I'm using to try and get Success Club every month. When Melissa asked me to be on this call, my husband and I were literally bringing our kindergartner to the urgent care to get her head glued because she had a lunch tray accident at school. And I looked at my husband and I'm like, oh my God, sweet Jesus, what have I done? And he just said, you've got to do it. You got to talk on that call. And I thought, okay. So I'm really hoping that, and that I just said, yes, of course. And I'm really hoping that I do have something to share that will help, or just give you a little inspiration or give you a little something to take with you. So like everybody else, I know I said we're all busy. We've all got full plates, I'm sure. Like I said, we're the weird family of 6. You don't see many families like ours anymore. We have 2 kids who are off and on their own. I have one that just went to college. We have one that's a high schooler. We have a middle schooler and a kindergartner. So I also work outside the home. My husband is a chiropractor, and I, for the last 20-some years, have run the entire business end of our clinic. So working full-time, lots of kids, lots of activities, like all of you, busy is kind of, like everyone, our middle name. So in February, when I started tossing around this idea of should I coach, my intentions were that I was not going to start coaching until the one son went to college in August and the little one went to kindergarten, and I had a little bit more time on my plate, or on my hands. But in March, I ended up getting a few friends that jumped on board with me, and I hit Success Club 6. In March, I had a few more jump, and all of a sudden I hit 10. And then I kind of was like panicking because my intentions of starting in September are right out the window, and I really wasn't quite sure what I was going to do, and I knew I needed to help these people and I needed to be there. So I really just kind of dove into all the trainings that I could. I did, the new bait coach basics. I did the emerald trainings, anything I could kind of get my hands on, I went through and I did. But I was feeling totally overwhelmed, and I wasn't quite sure where I was going. I wasn't quite sure how I was supposed to do this. And so for the sake of saving my sanity and my family, and making sure that the businesses, the clinic and then the Beachbody business were all staying in check, I knew I had to come up with some kind of a system. And I honestly feel like coming up with a system is something that has pushed me to get Success Club each month. I feel like in this system, what I ended up having to do was figure out a calendar system. That was what I needed to do. And in implementing this calendar, it's really kept me in check. So the things that I knew once I started going to town and figuring out all of what I wanted to do and how I was going to do it, I tried to figure out what goals I had. And I know that we hear it all the time about Success Club. You just need to hit it each month. And I have made that non-negotiable. Since I hit it the first month, and then I knew coming into the second month I was going to hit it again, I thought this is right. These top coaches, Melissa tells us all the time, you got to hit Success Club. And it's true. It's what makes us grow. It's what pushes us. It's what keeps us going. So I've really made that non-negotiable. And so in doing that, I tried to kind of work a little bit backwards and see how it was I needed to keep hitting it and what it was I needed to do. So I knew at that point to run challenge groups. Obviously, that was my next step. I'm like, well, I need to keep running challenge groups, because by running these challenge groups, that's going to get me my Success Club points, which is just going to allow me to grow more. And in doing this, I decided that I needed to kind of create a calendar system. I needed my month to be laid out. I needed to know, what kind of group I was going to be running when and how it was going to work. Because at that point, when I was, kind of like feeling frazzled, well, do I do this then? Do I do that then? And everybody's groups were starting at different times. How did I know when I was supposed to be doing something? Where was it supposed to go? I was feeling overwhelmed, and I thought, all right, I need to do this. I need to get a plan in place. And once I dug in and I looked at a bunch of different, people's videos on how they run their month, I kind of came up with a system. And I'm going to show you my, I'm going to show you my calendar for September, because I think it'll be easier if we have a little bit of a visual as to what. This is for a PowerPoint that I did with another team's call the other day. So this is my calendar for September. Let me just get it a little bit bigger. Oops. Okay, so each month, this is how I have laid out my system, and I truly believe that having it in this order has allowed me to get to Success Club. If you can see, the first week of the month, I always run some type of a free group. This month, it just happened to be a free clean eating group. I run that free clean eating group the first week of the month, and then the third week, I start my 3-week challenge group. It gives me, you can see here, I begin advertising for these challenge groups, like, midway point of that free clean eating group. And then I've got this entire week here to work that I use an event. I don't know if anybody else uses events to do their challenge groups or to promote their challenge groups or whatnot, but I have found that that works really, really well for me. So I open up an event here, and I work that event just like I would a challenge group. I put posts in it daily. I respond to people's questions. I tag them so they get more reach into into Facebook. I invite a ton of people. I feel like I have people, if they don't want to be a part of it, then this way they don't have to, message me back. They can just kind of ignore me and do whatnot. But I really work my events like a challenge group, and I really try to keep that active in people's news feeds. And from this point, like I said, I work in here. When they respond that they're interested or they're going to my 3-week clean eating group, that is usually when I shoot them a message and ask them to fill out a MailChimp link that gathers their name and their email. I then pull that into my Gmail account, and that is actually where I start to form relationships with them and kind of go through it. I have found, for me, what works best is not necessarily going off of a script for the forming of, you know, what kind of programs they want, what are their goals, and things like that. I kind of just found that doing a little bit, I had done a Mayo Clinic wellness coaching course and had learned some motivational interviewing stuff with that. And I have found that using that works better for me than the scripts. It's very similar to a lot of the scripts that I've seen, you know, and getting people to say what their goals are, you know, kind of what's worked for them in the past, and going along those lines. But during this green week of advertising for the challenge group, that's when I move these folks into that and I start to form relationships with them. Now, by doing the clean eating group and hopefully feeding them into this 3-week challenge group, I generally hit Success Club 5, and it has been 10 by the 15th of every month. It kind of just happens to fall that way, and I really don't find myself scrambling the last couple of days to get those last 1 or 2 people on board. I'm not saying that I don't reach out to more people towards the end of the month. It's just that I feel like I have a little less on my plate, and I've already kind of set myself up, so I've already met all of those goals that I've had by the time we're starting that 3-week challenge group. So that has helped me a ton doing it that way and not having to scramble towards the end. I think at first I was kind of leaning towards doing, you know, the challenge group at a different time, and I felt I was kind of scrambling and not very centered and focused. So having it laid out this way has made me able to reach that Success Club early on in the month and not have to scramble towards the end of the month, hoping that people will join me for the first week of the next month. And you can kind of see where I've even laid out on my calendar when it is I'm going to start advertising for different things. I use events for all of my promoting. It seems to work really well for me. It seems to be able to get me a reach. But I've laid this all out, and this calendar goes with me every single month. There has not been a change in it for, you know, since I put it together. I have continued using this system. I had a high, I think Health Bet really helped me last month. I had a high month last month, but I would probably say that I average maybe like 16, 17, 18 points each month. Right now I'm at 17 points, and I'm just getting ready to start up, you know, another group. You know, we're in this point right here for the next month, but this calendar system and utilizing, you know, where the free clean eating group is the first week, the challenge group's the 3rd week, my sneak peek, that's something I added in after a little bit, but my sneak peek is always the last week of the month as well. So that is basically my month at a glance, and I think that is really something that has contribute to me being able to reach Success Club, because I really am not feeling rushed at the end of the month. It kind of lays everything out, and it's a system that's consistent. I have run challenge groups like this starting in March, every single month this way. And I've not missed a month of challenge groups. I think that also has helped. So I think, you know, doing it that way and staying that way has really given me a little bit of a push on that end. The last thing that I think we've all have to come to terms with, and I'm sure many of you guys have come to terms with, but is I learned very early on that I cannot shy away from asking people to join me because I'm afraid they're going to tell me no. And that was one of my fears in the beginning. It's like, gosh, I just don't want them to tell me no. I know getting a no is, you've got to ask, because if you're going to get a no, you know, that's a no. If you're going to not ask because you're afraid to get a no, that's still a no. You have to ask to get a yes. And if somebody told me no, I finally had to come to terms with the fact that it wasn't about me as a coach. It wasn't about them. It just wasn't right. Maybe, you know, we just didn't click. Maybe there was somebody else for that person, or maybe it just wasn't the right time for them. So I really needed to come to terms quickly with, I need to ask no matter if I think it's going to be a no. And that truly has helped me, because you can't get a yes if you don't ask. But those were basically how the things that I have found that have kept me consistent. Those are the things that I've consistently done. And those are kind of the hints and tips that I have on that. I think there were some questions. Do you want me to go to the chat and find those?
You know, I can give you that question.
Okay.
So Joyelle said, are you running ads? If so, what is your budget?
I have not run ads for any groups. I have run ads for, I shouldn't say that, I did run some ads for Coach Sneak Peeks, and I haven't run them consistently enough to throw, you know, a ton of money at them. I kind of have, it's something I need to work on. I'm not really sure exactly how to approach it, but I am not running ads for my challenge groups at all.
Okay, and then go on.
I do sometimes throw out a promo out there. One time, some friends of ours, a couple of coach friends, and I did a Friday night challenge where we all went on live and said that we've been challenged to help 2 people, and we promoted a fixed date book with it to see if we could each get 2 people, and that totally worked. I did a quick promo, and I've done just some of those quick little promos just for fun, just to see if it can kind of push me over the edge, things like that. But I've never run ads in terms of, other than just coach groups is what I've run ads for.
Okay, and then another question that came in was, do you run mixed groups or do you run groups for a specific program?
I have run both. I've done both. I generally seem to run more mixed groups than I do for a specific program, but I do have it's mostly mixed. 1 or 2 groups I've run to specific programs.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone heard Melissa on the National Wake Up Call, but she spoke about the benefit of doing a mixed group and using Beachbody On Demand potentially as the tool for that. Because the second you pigeonhole someone into a program, you select a program for them. If they don't like it, you're forcing them through a further 3 weeks potentially of something they don't enjoy. So at least with Beachbody On Demand, you can change and people can share what's working for them. Okay. I'm going to the next question, which is, how do you get the interested and going people for the event into the challenge group? Do you friend requests so you can message them? I have a hard time getting people to respond once they've shown interest.
I Facebook message them. I do try to friend request them so that I don't go into their other folder. So I do try to friend request them and go that route. And hopefully then we'll get through, and I message them, and I usually send them the link to my MailChimp email list that gathers their email. I haven't had too much of a problem with people not responding that way. But yeah, I give them a couple days, and then I have messaged, you know, if they've said they're going, I will send them that link, ask them to fill it out. And I will follow up with them in a couple days if I haven't heard or if they haven't filled out that link.
Okay. And then who do you invite, I guess, is the crux of this question. Do you just invite friends to your event? Do you invite anyone to your event?
I basically invite anyone to my event. So if someone is, if they've liked my like page, or if they've liked different posts, you know, I try to just keep adding people to my network. And as I've added the new ones in there, I invite them, I invite friends, I invite family. I always do a post in my event about grabbing a friend and how much easier it is to do with a friend and how much more fun it can be to do something hard with a friend. And it keeps you more accountable. So I always encourage them to grab a friend, but I generally invite a lot of people. I always go through my list on Facebook events. It will pull up any of the groups that you've hosted before. So it pulls up all my clean eating groups. It pulls up past challenge groups. And so I pull up all of those and I usually invite them all.
Perfect. Okay, I do apologize, Wendy. I got lost in my messages trying to hit my last couple of Success Club points, unlike you. And I do find your intro, and you did a great job of it.
Okay, well, no, it's no big deal.
And,
One other thing I was going to say that I did in for my last challenge group is I went live in my event page, and I did a video on what is a challenge group, what can you expect from a challenge group, and just kind of did a whole little briefing on that and had a really good response with that. I know they say live video is like the thing you're supposed to be getting out there right now, and I probably will keep doing that in my event page. So for my challenge groups, I'm going to keep doing that, and I think that kind of was a good draw for me to go live and kind of explain what is a challenge group and what can you expect from it and things like that.
That's great. And one last question, I guess. Do you have like an order by date? Do you implement an order by date and push late coming buyers into the following month's challenge, or?
No, because I let them in late. I encourage that to get started. I kind of put an encouragement. Ordering, it needs to be done very soon. Ordering should be done by Friday. If I've got people who are like messaging me and say, is it too late? I let them in. They can do on demand, I tell them. They can do the program on demand. We're just going to keep clean eating, take out your processed food. So I kind of get them started without the actual Shakeology to begin with, and just go from there.
Okay, I'm just going to put a few more comments in here. Like as an experienced coach, me and my wife have been in the business for 3 years or so, but I love Wendy's format, and it's successful, and I've seen other coaches talk about it. And, the free group is a great idea. I've seen, I monitor a lot of social media, so I see what's going on. I've seen crock pot weeks. I've seen water weeks. I've seen Dave Ramsey financial weeks, all these ways of encouraging people to get together and learn about, so they will tie in things on how to get your budget in line, find that extra $140 and then straight into a challenge group a couple of weeks later. So you can do those sorts of things. I don't want to talk too much longer though, because we have another coach who is kicking butt, the polite way of putting it, this month. And I've got her notes here. So she says, I suppose you can mention that I'm an emergency care veterinarian, and my 9-year-old keeps telling me she's singing for Veterinarians Day in November, which is fun. She's a happily married twin toddler mama who is obviously part of Team Made, but also leader of the Fit Tribe. Add a maintain, or you can leave that part out. Sorry to read that verbatim, Amber. That was just funny to me. So this is Amber Langley-GIll, and we're delighted to hear your secrets as well.
Hi, yes. So I did send it, but I was a late comer. I sent it like at 8 o'clock, so you're forgiven. And not a lot of people can say our team name. It's adamantine. It's Latin for unbreakable. My husband actually came up with it when I signed up as a coach. So good job pronouncing it to you. So recently I was at an event called the High Performance Academy that was hosted in San Diego by Brendan Burchard. If you don't know who he is, just Google him. He's a motivational leadership speaker. He's phenomenal. I was blessed to be able to go to one of his events in February, but just wasn't really in the right mindset to hear what he had to say and all the tools and to start really implementing them in my daily life. So I was able to go again this past weekend at the same time of Platinum Edge, which was a hard decision. And I'm sorry I missed some of y'all's faces that were there. I'm sorry I missed y'all. But I really needed to focus my attention there. And if you have time to go to a live event, either Brendan Burchard, Charlene Johnson, Danny Johnson, anywhere, I really, really stress the importance of going around people with vision and living with passion. It just fills your cup up. So if you don't know about his seminars, what he does is it's 4 days. You're there for about 10, sometimes 12 hours a day. And he focuses on 4 pillars of high performance and how they all are rooted on your purpose. So the pillars are psychology, physiology, people skills, and productivity. Thank goodness they all started with P because I was going to forget one. And each day he really focuses on one of those pillars, and he brings a guest speaker. You don't know who it's going to be, that's an expert in that field. And one of his speakers, I'm going to give you a little snippet about his talk. His name was Robin Sharma. He's Canadian. He is a writer and a leadership speaker. He is phenomenal. So I definitely think that y'all should try to get one of his books or try to catch him on, I think he's rocking like Facebook and Instagram. So just try to catch one of his videos. He's a phenomenal speaker. One of his topics was on how you can be a leader without a title. And to me, that hit home. You don't have to be a CEO. You don't have to be president. You don't have to be a doctor. You don't have to be, global sales president. I don't even know what that means. But you don't have to have a title to be a leader. You just have to stand up, take action, and live each day with joy. And I'm going to share with you his 4 devotions of leadership without a title, if y'all would like. So they're pretty basic, but I thought it was something powerful. And I knew Wendy, who talked phenomenally. I knew she was going to give good content. She said she was going to talk for probably 30 minutes. And I was like, I only have 10 minutes to give you a 2-hour speech. So I'm going to go really fast, but just hang in there. The first is own your game. So most folks are steadily working at a level of mediocrity. They're never really working on their craft. And your craft is your brand, is your research, your hobbies, it's coaching, it's your relationships with people. People aren't constantly learning and growing. And I don't want us, our team, our family, to be mediocre. And this pertains to like your vernacular, your reading, your hobbies, and your mission. You should be constantly learning, constantly growing, and don't allow fear, like Wendy talked about, don't let that fear stop you. You need to embrace it. You need to do the research. If you don't like doing live video, there's plenty of people out there that are giving little snippets of how to do live video. So research it and implement it, but implement it then. Don't wait till, well, I'm going to wait a week. I have a pimple this week. I really do. It's like right here. But I'm going to wait a week to do it. No, implement it then, because it's how you grow. With making your mistakes, you grow better, and people embrace it and want to follow that. So constantly practice to be better. Constantly learn. Go to seminars. Like I said, Brendon Burchard, giving you a plug. Charlene Johnson, Danny Johnson, Tony Robbins, Platinum Edge. I think there's even a Super Saturday coming up in October. Go to these events, absorb as much knowledge, and take action. Because we all hear that saying, imperfect action is better than perfect inaction. So let's not settle. Let's constantly strive to be the champion of our own craft. So number 1 is own your game. Number 2 is be a monk. So in today's world, we're constantly distracted. iPhones, iPads, Facebook notifications, Instagram, Snapchat, email. Once you get sidetracked, once you hear that bling, your eyes are averted to glimpse down your notifications and your brain shifts focus. It actually takes you 22 minutes to get your mindset back into focus of where you were before you were distracted. Like you can do 22-minute hardcore workout with Tony in the time it takes your brain to get refocused. That's what I did right before the call, if you can't tell. But you need to block time. That's one of the biggest things that I took away is block your time. And if it's 20 snippets here or there, own it. Block time for your power hour, your coach calls, research, vision planning. I said vision planning. You need at least 10 minutes to really focus on your vision and to feel it in your soul and feel it viscerally, because that's what's going to drive you every day to keep moving forward. So block time. Put your phone on Do Not Disturb while you're working and turn off all notifications. I'm serious. Facebook Messenger, Instagram, Snapchat, emails. Let your time, your block time, be your sanctuary, where you get out of distraction mode and you go deep into focus. That's where the magic happens. So 1, own your game. 2, be a monk. Now, number 3 is kind of the same as own your game, but it was his topic, so I'm just going to go with it. Think like a beginner. So once you start getting success, most people do one thing and they get comfortable and they get vulnerable because they stop learning. And you have to continue to work your craft. You have to continue to be the best coach that you can be. And one is to stay up on the news in Coach Online Office, plug into Teammate family page, plug into the Teammate newsletters, stalk Carl Deichler's page on Facebook. That's what I do. Keep up with social media trends. Charlene Johnson, Amy Porterhouse, I think that's her name. James Wedmore, they do awesome podcasts on how to branch out into social media. That's something that you can be implementing every day and filling your cup with. And one more plug for live seminars. So just never stop growing. Constantly feed your mind. And one way to like really, give yourself a reality check, a gut check, is to think, what's on your nightstand? What's on your nightstand? What books are you reading? What's on your Netflix queue? I mean, besides a lot of like Disney and VeggieTales right now, we have documentaries. So whatever you're feeding your mind with, you speak. And what you speak, you attract. So constantly think like a beginner. So 1, own your game. 2, be a monk. And 3, think like a beginner. And the 4th one he said was leave it better. So he didn't really say leave it better, but that's like the teammate hashtag. He said something kind of like it, but he said leave people better than you found them, which kind of made me think of like the Girl Scout quote. If there's any Girl Scouts in the group, what? Give a shout out. But he meant take care of your relationships and the success will follow. Instead of thinking about Success Club points, I think about them. I knew in the beginning, I was thinking, I just need 1 more point. I just need 2 more points. I need 3 more points. We get so focused on points that we need to shift our focus on how can I be the most use to the most people and play the long game and focus on generosity. I truly hate it when I say I just need 1 more point, because that 1 point is not just a person, it's a community. It's not just I'm helping one mom. I'm helping that mom make some lifestyle choices. Her daughter is going to be seeing her mom gain a better positive image. She's going to see her mom taking better care of herself, eating healthier. Her spouse is going to be seeing her eat and join in, hopefully, by living a healthier lifestyle. Her coworkers are going to start making small changes. So by helping one person gain that 1 point, yeah, it's a point and it matters in the business side of things, but you're helping a community. And so if you focus on generosity and giving to that person 10 times the value that you normally would, just going over and beyond, they'll fall in love with you, because that's our job as leaders, is to make people feel bigger and better and to make them fall in love with us. It's kind of like how Maya Angelou said, I'm paraphrasing off the cuff, so don't judge me if I get it wrong. But people may forget what you said, and people may forget what you do, but they won't forget how you made them feel. And so make people feel appreciated and that they matter. So I know I'm trying to talk really fast and trying to wrap this up because Wendy did an amazing job with her whole calendar. But I just want to leave you with 3 points, just in case you like zoned out and totally like are cooking dinner or had to change a dirty diaper, because I know life happens. But here's 3 points. Don't settle for mediocrity. Be constantly learning and feeding your mind with goodness. So like seriously, I just went to Barnes & Noble and got 3 new books. It's like intense. Number 2 is slay the distractions and own your time. Make the magic happen. And number 3 is leave it better. Focus on the relationships and the success will come. And that's it. I hope that helps. If you want to know more about High Performance Academy, I am going to be giving like a webinar to my team about everything that I've learned. So if you want that link, I'll let you know the time and you can show up. But there you go.
Thank you, Amber. That was awesome. I think there was some real good takeaways there. I went to the men's event in Dallas this year and I came back fired up, and Coach Summit's another great opportunity. You know, if you're a new coach and this is your first or second month, it's Success Club. 3 months in a row, off you go to Coach Summit. Save yourself a couple of $100 and go to New Orleans. It's fantastic. I'm really excited to go to that city. Some great comments coming in here. Such great content. Thank you, Wendy and Amber. You both did great, and I found a ton of value in tonight's call. You know, speaking to coaches who are out there on the front line doing this is fantastic. And you know, everybody starts somewhere. And Wendy's had an amazing start. Amber, you've been in the business a couple of years now. Is that right?
I want to say it's going to be 2 months, November 1st, and I've hit Success Club every month except one. So,
yay! And that's not that, you know, everybody, don't think you're the only one who's there in the last week struggling. We've all been there. We've all been there fighting for those Success Club points in the last month. And really, although it sounds, you know, it is such an incredible feeling to actually hit it. You know, it's good to have these targets, and it's great to get out there and actually do it as well. So, all right. Well, I think that's, we're about done. I don't see any questions there. I see lots of thank yous for the information, and I will post this recording for everybody. And I'd advise you to take a good look at some of the things that both these ladies are doing. You know, back to what Amber was talking about, you know, leading by example. You don't need to be told that you're a certain person to be the leader. You don't need to be told you're the president. You don't need to be told you're a diamond coach to start acting like a diamond coach. We were holding team calls, my wife and I, before we were a diamond coach, just because that's where we wanted to be, and we figured let's just get in the habit of doing it now. And you guys can go out there and do that too. So take the leadership, take the role, show people what you do. Even if you're a coach, you know, leadership is about influence. So you just starting and being out there and sharing what you're doing is being a leader. It really is. And then as people come with you, you're leading your pack, you're building your tribe.
yes.
I can waffle too much. I need to shut up and let you ladies do the talking. All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us. I will upload this recording for everyone. Goodbye from Melissa, but not Melissa. And let's go out there tomorrow and finish off the month strong.
Thanks, Steve.
All right, guys. Thank you.